All right, hello and welcome. This is another video about vintage baseball cards. Did I get that right, Chris?
Oh gosh, you got it right, but the guy that usually says that's a real pretty kind of guy. But no, you got it right. Good
All
job.
right. Well, I'm taking a turn being the host position here for who wore it better. I believe we're up to number 41. Is that right, Chris?
41, and it's going to be a fun one today, talking about the number 41.
Yeah,
Maybe
there's
maybe
some
a
good
little bit of
players.
controversy. Maybe.
Oh, maybe we'll find out, or maybe we'll both be right. So, if you agree with me, then you can be right too, right, Chris?
Yes, and I tell you, I'm on another show that Showcase Showdown, so I'm going to tell people to pause here and get their own make their own list if they're not already waiting for number 41, and follow along with us and tell us in comments if we got this right. But you're on, you go do it, and I'm going to break in every when I want to. So tell us how you do this.
Yeah, well, since I'm the host, and then it's my turn to ask you. So, Chris, you got any honorable mentions for the number 41 here?
Well, yes, I do. I do. 41 to me was easy. It really was easy. And basically, for those of you listening, we take the jersey number 41 and say who wore it best. And last one on 42, we chose maybe not the one who was the greatest player, but one that wore it the best, was the most significant player, wore 42. But he's a hell of a player anyway, and that was
Oh yeah,
Jackie Robinson. And so far, I believe we got it right so far. I know you and I had a little bit of discrepancy on number 45, but
yeah. You
let's
only got one of them wrong so far.
well, that's your opinion, and you're allowed your opinion, but just don't express it all the time, and you'll look smarter. But 41, I one we had one that's probably going to retire this year, and that's Carlos Santana, and he played for the Cleveland Indians, and I got to see him play for the Royals a year, and he's got some monster stats. So I think he wore number 41. But my honorable mention, and I don't first honorable mention that I have, and I'm not going to show a card of him or anything like that, but he's a great left-handed pitcher that gets looked over a little bit, and that's Jerry Royce. And I've heard him mentioned on some YouTube channels before, but Jerry Royce had a long career with the Pirates and the Dodgers, and he was a great left-handed pitcher. I don't know if he got up to 200 wins yet, but I just remember him being a really, really good pitcher. And my other honorable mention might have an outside chance to get in the Hall of Fame, and that is relief pitcher Jeff Reardon. Jeff Reardon, I didn't write down his stats because he didn't make my top three. And you got to make the top three here on our little Who Wore It Best, for us to show any cards or really talk about. But my two honorable mentions are Jerry Royce and Jeff Reardon. How about you, John? Do you have any?
Well, I mean, Jerry Royce is a solid pick. I have it here pulled up. He's a two-time All-Star, and he did actually get to 220 wins to go with 191 losses, but clearly on some low-scoring teams because his career ERA is a very respectable 3.64. So,
Yeah, yeah,
Hall of very good member for
yeah.
sure.
And I think he was an ace on a few of those teams as well. I looked at him as an ace. Not a ton of 20-game wins seasons, but a very solid pitcher. What do you think about Jeff Reardon?
Jeff Reardon, very good. I mean, we had Bruce Sutter on the last show. I'd almost view him as a poor man's Bruce Sutter. So
There you go.
he's not quite as dominant or fearsome. He didn't have the ultra nasty pitch like Sutter in the splitter, but it's still very effective for his time closer. Unfortunately, a lot of those years with a less competitive Montreal Expo team than what Suter had with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
So,
but Suter was with the Cubs too for a while. But they weren't so
yeah,
bad with the Cubs when he was there. But yeah, I get it.
definitely a lot more save opportunities though with those St. Louis teams. So,
Sure.
but very good. I can see him like not quite making the Hall of Fame because I do see him a notch below like Suter and Lee Smith that were his National League contemporaries. So
I
I'd
got it.
say that makes sense for them to be in the honorable mention category. So
Okay.
I only pulled one honorable mention, and this is kind of an unfortunate shout out to my friends that are fans of that baseball team in Cleveland. Folks like Reindeer Studios, Warren D, and CLE, and this guy played 13 seasons as a fairly good starter, good enough where he made 3 All-Star teams. But he also had some relatively bad seasons there in the second half, to where it balances out to where his 13 seasons end up being statistically, with the advanced statistics like the people like to use now, where he computes to where he is exactly a league average pitcher for 13 years.
Oh,
But for Cleveland, that's good enough to be nominated to their team Hall of Fame. So
okay.
what does that say about that franchise's history, that a league average pitcher who pitched for 13 years can be a Hall of Famer for your franchise?
Well,
So I'm sorry, Cleveland
yeah, I
fans.
was going to say you just threw off gloves for some YouTube content creators on that side, and some Indian fans that I'm sure love me now a lot more than they love you. But
Maybe, but it is none other than Charles Nagy,
solid pitcher.
who was the Game 3 starter in the '95 World Series, during which my own Atlanta Braves won that World Series title there. They're only, unfortunately, of the '90s. So, but
Okay, very interesting.
yeah, so league average, and you can be a team Hall of Famer. So,
Oh, I'm
sorry,
again.
Cleveland fans.
Okay. All right. Where do we go
All
from
right, so we're
here?
on to number 3. That you're up first since I'm the host there, Chris.
Okay, so top 3. I've mentioned this guy on my show before. I did a series and still kind of do a series called Just a Bit Outside. And I believe this guy has a chance to become a Hall of Famer someday. I mean, listen to these stats before I say his name: 414 home runs, I believe 1,300, over 1,300 RBI. This guy struck out a ton. And I remember him. I remember watching him play, and he struck out a lot. But his on base percentage wasn't bad because he led the league in walks a couple times. He's a 2-time All Star. He led the league in home runs in 1985 when he was old, and his WAR was 58.7. And I am talking to you about the guy in the middle of this card, and that's Darrell Evans. Now, Darrell Evans, he played for the Atlanta Braves, but he was a significant player for both teams. Or he played for the Braves and the Tigers. That I know he probably played some other places, but he was a good player for both those teams. And so my third place person is Darrell Evans.
All right, it's a good thing I'm here to help you out again, Chris, because once again, he did not wear number 41 when he played for the Atlanta Braves. So he didn't change to that number until he joined the San Francisco Giants in I believe 1976, and he wore then 41 through his time with the Giants and then the Tigers. Um,
but
and
still a significant part of his career.
Sure, but
Yeah.
once again, you showed a card with him not wearing the actual number.
It's the only card I have of Darrell Evans. Only
Well,
card
here
I
we
have.
go. 85 Fleer, Darrell Evans. And the big thing, he's also number 3 on my list, by the way. So let's
Good.
get that out there. But he is the guy who has, I'm pretty sure, I couldn't find anyone else, the biggest number of year gap between 40 home run seasons. He hit 40 home runs, I believe, when he was 26 for the Giants. And then he hit it again in 1985 here for the Tigers when he was 38 years old, which also made him the oldest player to hit 40 home runs, as well as I think at the time the oldest player to win a home run title. So,
has that been smashed now? I mean, is he still, the oldest to win a home run title?
I think so, because while Bonds hit more when he was 39, he did not actually win the home run title because of everybody being roided. So I think he is still the oldest with a home run title. So
okay.
But then quick bit of trivia for all those pre-Reuters with 400 or more home runs. There's 2 guys who failed to make the Hall of Fame: Darrell Evans and,
gosh, put me on the spot. Not Dave Kingman. Dave Kingman?
It was Dave Kingman.
Boy, you snuck that up on me. We can pre-do this. You can say, "Hey, Chris, so you don't look so silly, I'm going to give you the answer to this," but I got it anyway.
No, Dave, the whole point is to make you look silly, Chris. Come on. So, Darrell Evans, he is borderline. His batting average for his career is only 248, but like you said, he has a respectable on-base percentage because he walks so much. So I mean, he's one of those guys that's favorable with the whole modern metric style of walk or home run, right? So
sure. Yeah, he would be on a team today. That's for sure.
Yeah. For sure. And, he'd be hitting a lot more home runs since the ball's a little juiced and the ballparks are a bit smaller than they were in the 80s. So,
yeah, true.
Or the 70s when they all were the concrete donuts. So, but all right. We are up to number 2. And for anyone out there, there are 2 Hall of Famers to choose from. So this could be the interesting time here of who picks what between these 2 Hall of Famers. And I guess you're up first for this, Chris.
Well, this player that I'm going to say was great. It was great, but who I chose as number 1, when I knew what the number was, I knew who I was going to pick as the number 1, and it'd be hard pressed to convince me otherwise. So my number 2, I believe, is a person that is underrated when there's rankings of the great third baseman of all time. And so by saying third baseman, you know exactly who I'm going to say, but it's Eddie Matthews. Yeah. Eddie Matthews, he had a 96 WAR. He had over 500 home runs. He had almost 1,500 RBI. He was a 13-time All-Star. He led the league in home runs twice while playing on the same team as Hank Aaron, I believe. And he he walked a lot too. And he was a fine third baseman. And I think we try to find a way somehow, at least I did, try to find some way to put my favorite third baseman up in the top 2, and that's George Brett. But I'm telling you, if you compared Eddie Matthews with any of those third basemen, he would compare very well. But I mean, he was a great player in the 50s. I think, I hope I'm not wrong here, but he played for the Boston Braves, the Milwaukee Braves, and the Atlanta Braves. I think. I don't Google that because I'm going to say he did, and then that way I'm not wrong. But man, he was great. He was the first person on like Sports Illustrated magazine. Is that first cover? One of the
He
magazines.
was on the inaugural cover of Sports Illustrated. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how special they thought of him back in the day. As far as the 1-2 punch of him and Aaron, wow, crazy that those two didn't win as many World Series titles, but it was tough goings back in those days. But Eddie Matthews clearly is a lot better choice for second than Darrell Evans, but he slides and lands right in my second spot on who wore it better. What say you, John 3D?
Well, do you want to show your card of Eddie Matthews, or
you want me to show that? Okay.
Sure.
Because see, that's really why you're here, is to remind me. But I'm going to show 54 Bowman, Eddie Matthews. And I'm going to show the most expensive Topps rookie baseball cards. And this is number 407 of the 1952 Topps. And for those of you that don't know this, that is the last card in the 52 Topps set. So it's hard to find one that's not damaged. But those are I'm only showing 2 Eddie Matthews cards. That one goes out to, there's a YouTuber out here that's going to watch this someday. And it's Pastor Craig is an Eddie Matthews collector. And I'm not inviting Pastor, even though his name is Pastor Craig, I'm not letting him come out to my house because I think he will have sticky fingers and steal this number 52 Topps Eddie Matthews. But here's a shout out to Pastor Craig's cards right there.
Now, I think you can trust Craig just fine. But yes, that's an amazing card. Most expensive Topps rookie card there is for, vintage, at least.
Okay.
I don't know when you get to these modern things that they've made. So who knows? But
yeah. Well, now the pressure's on you. I just am hitting the ball back over to your side of the court. And who do you have as number 2?
Well, before that, just because you like being fact checked so much, I will fact check your statement about the Boston, Milwaukee, and Atlanta, and say you are correct, sir. So his final season with the Braves was when they first moved to Atlanta. So
okay, what'd you say? Because say it a little louder for the people in the back row to hear. You said something. You are
about this one particular issue and only this one particular issue. You are correct.
Oh, okay.
So did that come through clearly?
It did. If you could reach through the set here, and put a little star on me right here, little thing, that'd be great.
Savor the moment, Chris. Okay. Savor the moment. So.
Yep. So
all right. So
what do you?
I pondered it a bit because we're talking about a guy. The Eddie Matthews that you named is somebody who retired, I believe, as the best player at their position in baseball history at the time he retired. He was the all-time, home run leader for third baseman, the first one to hit 500 home runs. And it wasn't enough for me to have him be number 1 on this list, though, for the number. So he is my number 2 pick here with the 1960 Topps card. A great, great player. But he did not wear it better. So then our number 1 guy. So,
great card. That 60 is a great card there. Wonderful.
Yeah,
card.
for me, this this is one of the best designed baseball cards you could have, where they gave him an awesome fielding shot where he's looking at the camera on the one side and then holding the bat on the other side, also looking at the camera. So many of these, they were lazy and they had almost the same looking picture with both pictures. And this one, they did great. It made it a well balanced, awesome card. So, but yeah, Eddie Matthews, so much overshadowed by our number 44 selection
Sure.
that he gets relatively forgotten. I mean, it really is an argument of who is number 2 now all time. I mean, obviously running away the guy from Philly, but who's the number 2 greatest third baseman of all time? There's an argument you can make still for Eddie Matthews.
There is.
Your guy George Brett is in the argument. Wade Boggs could be in the argument.
Chipper Jones.
Yeah. So there's only one clear cut, I think, number 1, but the number 2, it's depending on what you favor, could argue for different people. So,
yeah, true.
But all right, that takes us to number 1 there, Chris.
Okay. Yep. So to me, when the number 41 was chosen, I knew who I was going to pick right from the start. He's the best pitcher that I ever saw. And I believe he is the best modern day pitcher. Now this is an argument. I mean, there's going to be people jump and shout, but I believe he's the best modern day pitcher. When I say modern day pitcher, after 1980, that the best pitcher ever in baseball that wasn't steroided up. And Tom Seaver's probably the pitcher. Tom Seaver's career is probably why I have such a disdain for the steroid users, because and the alleged steroid users, that kind of stuff. I want people to still watch this, but he was so good and so dominating for such a long time that his WAR was 109.9. He had a 300 wins, over 300 wins, 3,600 strikeouts, which, again, he was a strikeout pitcher because he's a power pitcher. He was a pitcher. He didn't try to strike everybody out. He liked his strikeouts and all that kind of stuff, but he was a pitcher. There's some people that just have a ton of strikeouts, but that's what they did when they got on the mound. They tried to strike out everybody they faced. And he finished a lot of games. He had a ton of quality starts. He was Rookie of the Year, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. He was a 12-time All-Star. And Tom Seaver is the greatest pitcher that I ever saw. Now, I take that back. I saw some pitchers that were better than him, but I don't think all of it was true was without cheating the game. And the reason I say the disdain that I have for some steroid stuff is people would still be looking at him that way had careers hadn't been extended. There's an argument for Randy Johnson. That's great. There's Clemens was super good. But how many of those, how many of those wins and those strikeouts did he add to his career? It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but if you look at his card and guess, you can guess, and Clemens is similar to where Tom Seaver was when he started doing that, but he wasn't Tom Seaver. And Tom Seaver and Nolan Ryan, their career kind of went together, right? I mean, until Nolan Ryan took care of himself a lot better and and there wasn't too many times that Nolan Ryan had a better record than that, or had a better year than Tom Seaver. I'm just saying number 41. And I tell you what, if anybody wants to argue, I say let's take it to two judges. Let's take it to a YouTuber named Mookie Chilson and Sammy Thunder, and let them be the judge. You pick whoever you want to as the greatest pitcher of all time, and we use those two brainiacs that know baseball like they do, and let's see who they would pick. And so, Tom Seaver, to me, wore 41 better, and I'm going to show you some cards. You don't have to remind me. So here's his 1975 card. Here's his number 69 card. And if you look at it long enough, you'll also see that it's his number 68 card because they didn't change the pose on it. But here is my Tom Seaver rookie. And I'm glad to say, without prejudice, that not only is he one of my top 5 players of all time, my favorite pitcher of all time, but he wore number 41 better than anybody ever wore 41.
Yeah. Yeah, you could almost look at 68 and 69 cards. They're kind of like modern cards where it's parallels, where they just have different borders, right? So,
right.
But yeah. Yeah, I had to agree here on the number 1, and I've got, definitely shout out to Mookie Chilson with this choice. I don't have a kid making a beard on his face version like Mookie has, but I'll take this one at least. So, yeah, you look at the numbers, and he dominated the 1970s insanely. I even took a deeper dive on some of his best seasons, and looking at it from more of the modern, who is actually a more effective pitcher versus who had more wins, like they used to focus a little too heavy on, he could have won 5 Cy Youngs during that decade. So instead of the 3 he won. Well, I think he won the first one in 69 though, but yeah, he is the best pitcher of that era for sure. I'm a little partial to Maddox, who, I didn't get to see Seaver in his prime.
Right.
I'll admit that. So by the time I saw him, he was aging. He was on the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
So, but phenomenal. I mean, the fact that the genetic freak who took good care of himself lasted forever has overshadowed him big time.
Who was great, by the way. I mean,
yeah, he's great, but awesome. I would say he was at best the 3rd best pitcher of his era.
Yeah.
I would place
his era. There's a lot of
number 2.
There's a lot of great pitchers in his time, and Maddox is just you look up the word pitcher in a dictionary, it looks something like Greg Maddux, right? And I'm not trying to put down Greg Maddux in any way, because you can throw his stats up there, and wow, as many games as he won, he was on some great teams as well, but no.
Yeah, we can save more Maddox discussion when we get to his number. But,
sure.
But
because I might change my mind when we get to Maddox's number. I might change my mind by then. So,
but the era of Seaver and Carlton, Ryan, you got Fergie Jenkins, Gaylord Perry. Those
Necro Palmer.
Yeah, Necro has amazing stats. Yeah,
Palmer just
some great pitchers. So, and yeah, Seaver was the best of them. So I can't argue with that. And he just didn't last as long as that Texan, and so now his cards are so much cheaper. So
right.
other than his rookie, which has got a short print issue, but yeah, he was good. So, and are we just going to agree every time now, huh?
We're going to have a hard time agreeing coming up. I guarantee you. So I don't know this. I want to reach out and give you a hug now, and that just makes me feel all sick inside. But I think
it was like best third baseman of his era or best pitcher, and to me, the best pitcher is a little more important.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's okay to agree. It's okay to agree. It shows me that you're coming a long way. You're coming a long way. And,
all right. Well, thank you, Chris. So,
well, you tell them what number's next, and you end the show for us if you would.
all right. So, yeah, everybody, comment down below if there's any other players of interest for you that wore 41 and share the story. But yeah, next time it'll be number 40, and we should have fun with it. Maybe we'll have some arguments some more on that one. But everybody out there, it's just a hobby. Collect what you like.